is coming water deep, till doing wakes again from sea.
We're gonna start.
Return journey. When Bilbo came to himself,
Thank you, Meryl90,
literally
for
by
the
himself.
follow yesterday.
he was lying on the
After
flat
the raid, I
stones of
appreciate it.
Ravenhill,
Much respect.
and no one was near.
A
A
let's try to get
cloudless day, but cold, was
some
broad
stuff
above
done.
him.
I don't know.
He was shaking,
I feel like
and
we
as
need to
chilled
continue
as
our
stone,
path, our quest,
but his head burned with fire.
but I'm not sure.
I wonder what has happened.
He said to himself,
Not entirely sure, at
At
least.
any rate, I'm not yet one of the fallen heroes.
Oh, you know what? Let me close my
I
door real
suppose
quick
there is still time enough for that.
in case my
he
vacuum
sat
wants
up
to
painfully.
peep
Looking
in.
into the valley, he could see no living goblins. After
Okay.
a while, as his head cleared a little, he thought
Let's
he could
see,
see
y'all.
elves moving in the rocks below. He rubbed his eyes. Surely
Iron
there was
sword.
a camp still in the plain, some distance
That
off,
away.
and there was a coming and going about the gate. Dwarves seemed to be busy removing
So
the
we got
wall,
ranged
but
now.
all was deadly still. was no call,
Steel
and no echo
hammer.
of a song. Sorrow
Actually.
seemed to be in the air.
Probably need to get that sword
Victory
too
after
still.
all, I suppose.
He said,
Just in
feeling his
case.
aching head.
Well, it
Oops.
seems a very
Oy.
good business.
Oy.
Suddenly he was aware of a man climbing up and towards him.
Hello there.
Okay.
He called with a shaky voice.
So we
Hello there.
need
What
to
news?
get to
What voices are
Durin's
those among
Highway
the
still,
stones?
right?
said the man, halting and peering about him not
Western
far from where Bilbo
Mines
sat.
To the
Then Bilbo
mines
remembered his
western.
ring,
Well, I'm blessed.
said he.
Trying to figure out where
Invisibility
we
has
need
its
to go.
drawbacks after all. Otherwise, I suppose I might have spent a warm and comfortable night in bed.
We need to clear out that area.
It's me, Bilbo Baggins, companion of Thorin.
He cried, hurriedly taking off the ring.
Let's go to Navi. Let's go to this area here.
Said the man, striding forward.
You are needed, and we have looked for you long. You would have been numbered among
let's
the dead, who are many.
Cook something.
If Gandalf the Wizard had not said that your voice was last heard in this place. I have been sent to look here for the last time. Are you much hurt?
A nasty knock on the head, I think.
Rest.
Said Bilbo.
And then we'll head
But I
out.
have a helm and a hard skull. All the same, I feel sick. My legs are like straws.
I will carry you down to the camp in the valley, said the man, and picked him lightly up.
Okay.
The man was swift and sure-footed. It was not long before Bilbo was set down before a tent in Dale, and there stood Gandalf with his arm in a sling. Even the wizard had not escaped without a wound, and there were few unharmed in all the host. When
Quiet.
Gandalf saw Bilbo, he was delighted.
Gandalf gets pretty
He
fucked up
explained.
throughout the entire, like, series.
After all, I am glad. I began to wonder if even your
Middle
luck
Earth
would see
series.
it through. A terrible business, and it nearly was disastrous. But other news can wait. Come,
He said more gravely,
you are called for.
and leading the hobbit.
So they're not
he took him within
respawning
the
because
tent.
we destroyed the totem. I don't think we destroyed all the totems
Said
though,
as he
so
entered.
I like that one up there, yeah.
Brought him.
So let's go
There
ruin
indeed
these
lay
these
Thorin
die.
Oakenshield,
Let's get
wounded
ruin
with
their
many
die.
wounds, and his rent armor and notched axe were cast upon the floor. He looked up as Bilbo came beside him.
My little shit.
Foe. Good thief.
He said,
I go now to the halls of pity
Whee!
beside my fathers, until the world is renewed. Since I leave now all gold and silver, and go where it is of little worth,
Oof.
I wish to part in friendship from you, and I will take back my words and deeds at the gate.
Bilbo knelt on one knee, filled with sorrow.
Farewell, King under the mountain.
He said,
King under the mountain.
This is a bitter adventure, if it must end so. And not a mountain of gold can amend it. Yet I am glad that I have shared in your perils. That has been more than any Baggins deserves.
No,
except Thorin.
There's more in you of good than you know. A child of the kindly west.
Let's get rid of the meat.
Some courage.
Take the
and some
topaz.
wisdom, blended in measure. If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. But sad or merry, I must leave it now. Farewell.
Rip.
Then Bilbo turned away, and he went by himself and sat alone wrapped in the blanket. And whether you believe it or not, he wept until his eyes were red and his voice was hoarse.
Aw.
He was a kindly little soul. Indeed, it was long before he had the heart to make a joke again.
Poor Gandhi.
A mercy it is that I woke up when I did.
He said at last to himself.
I wish Thorin were living, but I'm glad we parted in kindness. You are a fool, Bilbo Baggins, and you made a great mess of that business with the stone. And there was a battle, in spite of all your efforts to buy peace and quiet.
Okay.
But I suppose you can hardly be blamed for that.
All that had happened after he was stunned,
Go
Bilbo
that
learned
way.
later, but it gave him more sorrow than joy, and he was now weary of his adventure. He was aching in his bones for the homeward journey. That, however, was a little delayed, so in the meantime I will tell something of events. The Eagles had long had suspicion of the goblins mustering. From their watchfulness, the movements in the mountains could not be altogether hid. So, they too had gathered in great numbers under the great eagle of the Misty Mountains, and at length, smelling battle from afar, they had come speeding down the gale in the nick of time. They it was who dislodged the goblins from the mountain slopes, casting them over precipices or driving them down shrieking and bewildered among their foes. It was not long before they had freed the lonely mountain, and elves and men on either side of the valley could come at last to the help of the battle below. But even with the eagles, they were still outnumbered. In that last hour, Beorn himself had appeared. No one knew
Hey,
how
I like
or
Bjorn.
when. He came alone and in bear
He's so
shape,
cool.
and he seemed to have grown almost to
Let's go up here.
giant
Let's
size
check
in
up here.
The roar of his voice
I think
was like
once this
drums and
ends,
guns.
oh Jesus!
And
I
he
think what
tossed
we're gonna
dwarves
do
and
is
goblins from his path like straws and feathers.
probably do it now actually, real
He fell
quick.
upon their rear and broke
Let me
like a
get
clap of
the
thunder.
Silmarillion.
The dwarves were making a stand still about their lords upon a low, rounded hill. Then Beorn stooped and lifted Thorin, who had fallen pierced with spears, and bore him out of the fray. Swiftly he returned, and his wrath was redoubled so that nothing could withstand him, and no weapon seemed to bite upon him. He scattered the bodyguard and pulled down Bolg himself and crushed him. Then dismay fell on the goblins, and they fled in all directions. But weariness left their enemies with the coming of new hope, and they pursued them closely, and prevented most of them from escaping where they could. They drove many of them into the running river, and such as fled south or west they hunted into the marshes about the forest river. And there the greater part of the last fugitives perished, while those that came hardly to the Wood Elves' realm were there slain, or drawn in to die deep in the trackless dark of Mirkwood. Songs have said that 3 parts of the goblin warriors of the north perished on that day, and the mountains had peace for many a year.
Many a year. Let me see if I can get this going real quick.
Victory had been assured before the fall of night, but the pursuit was still on foot when Bilbo returned to the camp, and not many were in the valley save the more grievously wounded.
Where are the eagles?
He asked Gandalf that evening, as he lay wrapped in many warm blankets.
Some are in the hunt,
Said the wizard.
but most have gone back to their eyries. They would not stay here, and departed with the first light of morning. Dain has crowned their chief with gold, and sworn friendship with them forever.
I'm sorry. I mean, I should have liked to see them again.
said Bilbo sleepily.
Shit. I don't know where her
Perhaps I shall
password
see
is.
them on the way home.
Let's
Shall we go
see.
home soon?
As soon as you like.
If I can't figure it out, then I won't worry about it right now.
Actually, it was some days before Bilbo really set out. They buried Thorin deep beneath the mountain, and Bard laid the Arkenstone upon his breast.
There let it lie till the mountain falls.
He said,
May it bring good fortune to all his folk that dwell hereafter.
upon his tomb, the Elven King then laid Orcrist, the elvish sword that had been taken from Thorin in captivity.
Oh,
It is said in songs that it gleamed ever in the dark if foes approached, and the fortress of the dwarves could not be taken by surprise. There now, Dane, son of Nain, took up his abode, and he became king under the mountain.
King
And in
under
time, many other
the
dwarves
mountain.
gathered to his throne in the ancient halls. Of the 12 companions of Thorin, 10 remained. Fili
Okay,
and
figured
Fili
out
had fallen,
later.
defending him with shield and body, for he was their mother's elder brother. The others remained with Dane, for Dane dealt his treasure well. There was, of course, no longer any question of dividing the hoard in such shares as had been planned, to Balin and Dwalin, and Dori and Nori and Dori, and Doin and Gloin, and Biffa and Bofa and Bomber, or to Bilbo. Yet a 14th share of all the silver and gold, wrought and unwrought, was given up to Bard, for Dane said,
We will honor the agreement of the dead. And he has now the Arkenstone in his keeping.
even a 14th share was wealth exceedingly great, greater than that of many mortal kings. From that treasure, Bard sent much gold to the master of Lake Town, and he rewarded his followers and friends freely. To the Elven King, he gave the emeralds of Girion, such jewels as he most loved, which Dane had restored to him. To Bilbo, he said,
This treasure is as much yours as it is mine, though old agreements cannot stand since so many have a claim in its winning and defense. Yet, even though you were willing to lay aside all your claim, I should wish that the words of Thorin, of which he repented, should not prove true, that we should give you little. I would reward you most richly of all.
Very kind of you,
said Bilbo.
but really it is a relief to me. How on earth should I have got all that treasure home without war and murder all along the way? I don't know.
Can't get
I
in.
don't know what I should have done with it when I got home. I'm sure it is better in your hands.
In the end, he would only take 2 small chests, one filled with silver and the other with gold, such as one strong pony could carry,
That will be quite as much as I can manage.
said he. At last, the time came for him to say goodbye to his friends.
Farewell, Balin.
He said,
And farewell, Dwalin. And farewell, Dori.
Nori and Pori.
Ori. Oin. Gloin. Biffa. Bofa. And Bomber. May your beards never grow thin.
and turning towards the mountain, he added,
Farewell, Thorin Oakenshield. And Fili and Kili. May your memory never fade.
Then the dwarves bowed low before their gate, but words stuck in their throats.
Goodbye,
Said Balin at last.
and good luck wherever you fare. If ever you visit us again, when our halls are made fair once more, then the feast shall indeed be splendid.
If ever you were passing my way,
Said Bilbo.
don't wait to knock.
Don't wait to knock.
Tea is at 4. But any of you are welcome at any time.
Then he turned away. The elf host was on the march, and if it was sadly lessened, yet many were glad, for now the northern world would be merrier for many a long day. The dragon was dead, and the goblins overthrown, and their hearts look forward after winter to a spring of joy. Gandalf and Bilbo rode behind the Elven King, and beside them strode Beorn, once again in man's shape, and he laughed and sang in a loud voice upon the road. So they went on, until they drew near to the borders of Mirkwood, to the north of the place where the forest river ran out. Then they halted, for the wizard and Bilbo would not enter the wood, even though the king bade them stay a while in his halls. They intended to go along the edge of the forest, and round its northern end in the waste that lay between it and the beginning of the Grey Mountains. It was a long and cheerless road, but now that the goblins were crushed, it seemed safer to them than the dreadful pathways under the trees. Moreover, Beorn was going that way too.
Farewell, O Elven King.
Said Gandalf.
Merry be the greenwood while the world is yet young, and merry be all your folk.
Farewell, O Gandalf,
said the king.
may you ever appear where you are most needed and least expected. The oftener you appear in my halls, the better shall I be pleased.
I beg of you
Said Bilbo, stammering and standing on one foot.
to accept this gift.
And he brought out a necklace of silver and pearls that Dane had given him at their parting.
In what way have I earned such a gift, O Hobbit?
Said the king.
Well, I thought, don't you know,
Said Bilbo, rather confused.
that some little return should be made for your hospitality. I mean, even a burglar has his feelings. I have drunk much of your wine and eaten much of your bread.
I will take your gift, O Bilbo the Magnificent,
Said the king gravely.
and I name you elf friend and blessed. May your shadow never grow less, or stealing would be too easy. Farewell.
Then the elves turned towards the forest, and Bilbo started on his long road home. He had many hardships and adventures before he got back. The wild was still the wild, and there were many other things in it in those days beside goblins.
Oi.
But he was well guided and well guarded. The wizard was with him, and Beorn for much of the way, and he was never in great danger again. Anyway, by midwinter, Gandalf and Bilbo had come all the way back along both edges of the forest to the doors of Beorn's house, and there for a while they both stayed. Yuletide was warm and merry there, and men came from far and wide to feast at Beorn's bidding. The goblins of the Misty Mountains were now few and terrified, and hidden in the deepest holes they could find, and the wargs had vanished from the woods, so that men went abroad without fear. Beorn indeed became a great chief afterwards in those regions, and ruled a wide land between the mountains and the wood. And it is said that for many generations, the men of his line had the power of taking bear's shape, and some were grim men and bad, but most were in heart like Beorn, if less in size and strength. In their day, the last goblins were hunted from the Misty Mountains, and a new peace came over the edge of the wild.
We got it. So let me go to my library.
It was spring, and a fair one with mild weathers and a bright sun, before Bilbo and Gandalf took their leave at last of Beorn. And
Jesus.
though he longed for home, Bilbo left with regret, for the flowers of the gardens of Beorn were in springtime no less marvelous than in high summer. At last they came up the long road,
Oh shit.
reached the very pass where the goblins had captured them before. But they came to that high point at morn, and looking backward, they saw a white sun shining over the outstretched lands. There behind lay Mirkwood,
Can we
blue
not
in the
climb?
distance, and darkly green at the nearer edge even in spring. There, far away, was the lonely mountain on the edge of eyesight. On its highest peak, snow yet unmelted was gleaming pale,
So comes snow after fire,
said Bilbo,
and even dragons have their ending.
and he turned his back on his adventure. The Tookish part was getting very tired, and the Baggins was daily getting stronger.
I wish now only to be in my own armchair.
He said.
So beautiful.
Chapter
my-
19. The
See if-
last stage.
Am I missing chat? No, I'm not missing chats. Okay, cool.
It was on May the 1st that the two came back at last to the brink of the valley of Rivendell, where stood the last, or the first, homely house. Again, it was evening. Their ponies were tired, especially the one that carried the baggage, and they all felt in need of rest. As they rode down the steep path, Bilbo heard the elves still singing in the trees, as if they had not stopped since he left. And as soon as the riders came down into the lower glades of the wood, they burst into a song of much the same kind as before. This is something like it.
The dragon is withered, his bones are now crumbled, his armor is shivered, his splendor is humbled. Those swords shall be rusted, and throne and crown perish, with strength that men trusted, and wealth that they cherish. A grass is still growing, and leaves are yet swinging, the white water flowing, and
Shit,
elves
shit,
are
shit,
yet
shit.
singing. Come, tra-la-la-la-lee, come back to the valley. The stars are far brighter.
Alright, let's go back to town and let's set this shit up.
Far whiter than silver and treasure. The fire is more shining, one hearth in the gloaming. Then go on by mining, so why go
Let's just do this.
Come back to the valley. Oh, where are you going? So late in returning. The river is flowing. The stars are all burning. A wither so laden,
Come back for that.
so sad and so dreary. Here elf and elf maiden, now welcome the weary. With tra-la-la-la-la-lee. Come back to the valley. Tra-la-la-la-la-lee. Fa-la-la-la-la-lee, fa-la.
Okay. Let that finish downloading,
The
and
elves
then
of the valley came out and greeted them, and led them across the water to the house of Elrond. There, a warm welcome was made them, and there were many eager ears that evening to hear the tale of their adventures. Gandalf it was who spoke, for Bilbo had fallen quiet and drowsy. Most of the tale.
alright, let's go rest, and then we'll reset everything.
And had himself told much of it to the wizard on their homeward way, or in the house of Beowulf.
Wasted too much time doing all that, but we're downloading our audiobook now.
When a part of the story which he did not yet know came in.
It won't be
It
the
was in
Andy
this
Service
way that
one,
he
but
learned where Gandalf had been to, for he overheard the words of the wizard to Elrond. It appeared that Gandalf had been
Can't
to a
sleep while
great
enemies are
council
nearby.
of the White Wizards, masters of law and good magic, and that they had at last driven the necromancer from his dark hold in the south of Mirkwood.
Ere long now,
Gandalf was saying,
the forest will grow somewhat more wholesome. The North
think it's 'cause
will
these
be
guys.
freed from that horror for many long years. I
yeah.
hope.
Let's kill these guys.
Yet I wish you were banished.
It would be well indeed,
said Elrond.
but I fear that will not come about in this age of the world, or for many after.
When the tale of their journeyings was told, there were other tales, and yet more tales.
Nope.
Tales of
There we go.
long ago, and tales of new things, and tales of no time at all. Till Bilbo's head fell forward on his chest, and he snored comfortably in a corner.
Aw, Bilbo. Finally. Get some fucking rest, my boy. Let's put this away
He
for
woke
right now.
to find himself in a white bed, and the moon shining through an open window. Below it, many elves were singing, loud and clear, on the banks
Eat.
of the stream.
Capacity 3 out of 3. Nice. I love this. The music, the score is just gorgeous. It's beautiful. Let's grab some coal real quick. Yeah, that's fine. We need more stone, so we need to start doing some more stuff with the stone. Oh, let's repair. Alright. Let's get out. Let's go.
Well, merry people,
said Bilbo, looking out.
what time by the moon is this? Your lullaby would waken the drunken goblin.
Let's go see. We might have to go down. We'll go check around more. Maybe we gotta get somewhere underneath. Because I can't dig down, right? Yeah, I can't. Okay. It's not Minecraft completely.
You will be cured of weariness. A little sleep does a great cure in the House of Elrond.
Said he.
Water.
But I will take all the cure I can get. A second good night, fair friends.
And with that, he went back to bed and slept till late morning. Weariness fell from him soon in that house, and he had many a merry jest and dance, early and late, with the elves of the valley. Yet even that place could not long delay him now, and he thought always of his own home. After a week, therefore, he said farewell to Elrond, and giving him such small gifts as he would accept, he rode away with Gandalf. Even as they left the valley, the sky darkened in the west before them, and wind and rain came up to meet them.
Merry as Maytime,
said Bilbo, as the rain beat into his face.
but our back is to legends, and we are coming home. Well, I suppose this is the first taste of it.
There's a long road yet,
said Gandalf.
But it is the last road.
How can I not get below here? What am I
They
missing?
came to the river that marked the very edge of the borderland of the wild,
Hmm.
and to the ford beneath the steep bank, which you may remember. The water was swollen, both with the melting of the snows at the approach of summer,
Came up
and
here.
with the day-long rain.
Let me go
But they
rebuild
crossed
this
with
over
some
here.
difficulty, and pressed forward as evening fell, on the last stage.
Check
of
the other
journey.
side as well.
This was much as it had been before, except that the company was smaller and more silent.
Get stone.
Also, this time, there were no
There it is.
trolls. At each point on the road, Bilbo recalled the happenings and the words of a year ago.
Good scraps.
It seemed to him more like 10. So that, of course, he quickly noted the place where the pony had fallen in the river, and they had turned aside for their nasty adventure with Tom and Bert and Bill. Not far from the road, they found the gold of the trolls, which they had buried, still hidden and untouched.
I have enough to last me my time.
Said Bilbo when they had
Check
dug
the
it
other
up.
side.
You'd better take this, Gandalf. I dare say you can find a use for it.
indeed I can.
Said the wizard.
But share and share alike. You may find you have more needs than you expect.
So they put
Gandalf.
the gold in bags and slung them on the ponies, who were not at all pleased about it. After that, their going was slower. For most of the time, they walked. But the land was green, and there was much grass through which the hobbit strolled along contentedly.
Alright, let's go through here.
He mopped his face with a red silk handkerchief. No, not a single one of his own had survived. He had borrowed this one from Elrond, for now June had brought summer, and the weather was bright and hot again. As all things come to an end, even this story, a day came at last when they were in sight of the country where Bilbo had been born and bred, where the shapes of the land and of the trees were as well known to him as his hands and toes. Coming to a rise, he could see his own hill in the distance, and he stopped suddenly and said,
Roads go ever on, over rock and under tree. By caves where never sun has shone, by streams that never find the sea, over snow by winter sown, and through the merry flowers of June, over grass and over stone, and under mountains in the moon. Roads go ever on, under cloud and under star, yet feet that wandering have gone turn at last to home afar. Eyes that fire and sword have seen, and horror in the halls of stone. Look at last on meadows green.
I think that's it.
Trees and hills.
Let's go back through here. Let's check this.
Gandalf looked at him.
Gandalf. Okay.
My dear Bilbo,
He said,
something is the matter with you. You are not the hobbit that you were.
and so they crossed the bridge and passed the mill by the river and came right back to Bilbo's own door.
Bless me! What's going on?
He cried. There was a great commotion, and people of all sorts, respectable and unrespectable, were thick around the door, and many were going in and out, not even wiping their feet on the mat, as Bilbo noticed with annoyance. If he was surprised, they were more surprised still. He had arrived back in the middle of an auction. There was a large notice in black and red hung on the gate, stating that on June the 22nd, Messrs. Grubb and Burrows would sell by auction the effects of the late Bilbo Baggins Esquire of Bag End Underhill, Hobbiton. Sale to commence at 10 o'clock sharp. It was now nearly lunchtime, and most of the things had already been sold, for various prices from next to nothing to old songs, as is not unusual at auctions. Bilbo's cousins, the Sackville Bagginses, were, in fact, busy measuring his rooms to see if their own furniture would fit. In short, Bilbo was presumed dead, and not everybody that said so was sorry to find the presumption wrong.
Ranger's Journal.
The return of Mr. Bilbo Baggins created quite a disturbance, both under the hill and over the hill and across the water. It was a great deal more than a 9 days' wonder. The legal bother, indeed, lasted for years. It was quite a long time before
Finds
Mr.
the
Baggins
journal.
was, in fact, admitted
Find the
to
journal
be
somewhere
alive
nearby, then replace the page to gain the
People who
knowledge
got
of
especially
this
good
ranger.
bargains at the sale took a deal of convincing.
Okay.
And in the end, to save time, Bilbo had to buy back quite a lot of his own furniture. Many of his silver spoons mysteriously disappeared and were never accounted for. Personally, he suspected the Sackville Bagginses.
Interesting.
On their side, they never admitted that the returned Baggins was genuine, and they were not on friendly terms with Bilbo ever after. They really had wanted to live in his nice hobbithole so very much. Indeed, Bilbo found he had lost more than spoons. He had lost his reputation. It is true that forever after he remained an elf friend, and had the honor of dwarves, wizards, and all such folk that ever passed that way. But he was no longer quite respectable. He was, in fact, held by all the hobbits of the neighborhood to be queer, except by his nephews and nieces on the Took side. But even they were not encouraged in their friendship by their elders. I am sorry to say he did not mind. He was quite content, and the sound of the kettle on his hearth was ever after more musical than it had been even in the quiet days before the unexpected party. His sword he hung over the mantelpiece. His coat of mail was arranged on a stand in the hall until he lent it to a museum. His gold and silver was largely spent in presents, both useful and extravagant, which to a certain extent accounts for the affection of his nephews and his nieces. His magic ring he kept a great secret, for he chiefly used it when unpleasant callers came. He took to writing poetry and visiting the elves, and though many shook their heads and touched their foreheads and said, "Poor Mr. Baggins," and though few believed any of his tales, he remained very happy to the end of his days. And those were extraordinarily long.
Aww.
One autumn evening, some years afterwards, Bilbo was sitting in his study writing his memoirs. He thought of calling them There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Holiday, when there was a ring at the door. It was Gandalf and a dwarf, and the dwarf was actually Balin.
Come in,
Said Bilbo, and soon they were settled in chairs by the fire. If Balin noticed that Mr. Baggins's waistcoat was more extensive and had real gold buttons, Bilbo also noticed that Balin's beard was several inches longer, and his jeweled belt was of great magnificence. They fell to talking.
The shadow
about
grows
things together.
strong in the minds. A wizard
Bilbo
searches for
asked how
Thrain.
things were going in the lands of the mountain.
Okay.
It seemed they were going very well. Bard had rebuilt the town in Dale, and men had gathered to him from the lake and from south and west, and all the valley had become tilled again and rich, and the desolation was now filled with birds and blossoms in spring, and fruit and feasting in autumn. And Lake Town was refounded and was more prosperous than ever, and much wealth went up and down the running river. And there was friendship in those
Natural
parts between
fiber.
elves and dwarves and men. The old master had come to a bad end. Bard had given him much gold for the help of the lake people,
Honestly, the way the book
but being
ends
of the kind that easily catches such disease,
is not
fell
bad.
under the dragon
Like,
sickness
he could have not written anything
took
after this and
most of the gold
still would have been
and
an
fled with it,
amazing fucking
and
book.
died of starvation
But the fact
in
that
the
there's
waste, deserted by
stuff
the
that comes
hounds.
after makes it even better.
The new master is of wiser kind,
Said Balin.
and very popular. For, of course, he gets most of the credit for the present prosperity. They are making songs which say that in his day, the rivers run with gold.
Then the prophecies of the old songs have turned out to be true, after a fashion.
Said Bilbo.
Of course.
Hairbor
Said Gandalf.
planked
And why
gauntlets.
should not they prove true? Surely you don't disbelieve the prophecies because you had a hand in bringing them about yourself? You don't really suppose, do you, that all your adventures
Stone
and
hearth.
escapes
Let's
were
build
managed
it.
by mere luck, just for your sole benefit? You are a very fine person, Mr. Baggins, and I'm very fond of you. But you are only quite a little fellow in a wide world, after all.
Thank goodness.
Lomsky.
Said Bilbo,
Loniski.
laughing, and handed him
Okay.
the tobacco jar.
The tobacco. Meal table. Let's go meal table. Perfect. Can we do a bedroll? I need clothing scraps. Okay. Let's do wood chest. Put that there for right now. Let's put some shit away.
If you are interested in hobbits, you will learn a lot more about them in The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Okay, let's grab some clothing scraps. That was a good. That's a great book. We need 6 clothing scraps so we can make a bedroll. and then we can start eating and making stuff, and yep. Stone. Oh shit. Shit. Nice. We built this. We get some clothing scraps, because it's nighttime. That. And then I'll start the next audiobook. This little shit. Wood scraps. Natural fiber. Wood scraps. Wood scraps. Okay, bat droppings. Inventory is full. Metal fragments. Metal fragments. Bat droppings. Shit. Oh, hi. Shit. Fucking slugging the shit out of these guys. Okay. Where is the bat? So bats are going to be a bit of a pain, as will spiders. I think they're going to be able to get into our location. Oh, hey. I think they're going to be able to get into our location, so we're going to have to be very careful. Is this? I haven't been here before. Okay. Little fragments. Oh, in the shadow? Fuck. Okay. The only thing that sucks is I need more clothing, but I don't have clothing. I guess I can go back to where we were. Because I think there was a lot. It's clothing and metal. Okay. Metal. Mushrooms, mushrooms, mushrooms. Mushrooms. Wood. Elven wood, stone, oat, metal fragments. Is that in the game? Hold on. Was that in the game? No, that was the audiobook. Okay, good. It was like this ogre or something. Okay, so stone, so here we go. Clothing, cloth scraps. We got there we go. Now we should have enough. Right? Bedroll. Yes. I actually like this little like music session that's got going on. Cloth scraps. Okay, let's go make our bedroll. Let's sleep, eat, all that good stuff. We'll build a little area to protect ourselves, and then we'll go from there. Bedroll.
7 years. Still nobody believes my adventures. What am I going to do with that?
Back there. Perfect. Claim it.
You know what?
I'll write it down.
No. No. There and back. A Hobbit's Holiday. By
Bilbo Baggins. Platform, stone column. I need a wall. Stone wall. There we go.
Ever wonder what sunlight feels like?
I guess we do a stone archway. And then we'll go narrow stone wall. Narrow stone wall. Perfect. And then let's get a door going. Simple door. Oh. So we need to deconstruct that. Who's talking? Oh, fuck. Yeah, motherfucker. Holy shit. You fucking startled me. I was like, who's talking? Is that the audiobook? Okay, let's do this.
That's one more for me.
Okay. Good? Good. Okay, let's go back to this now. Let's do this with a simple door. Perfecto. Okay, let's go inside. Actually, what we can do now, just because I'm paranoid as balls, let's do this. It's natural fiber, okay. Let's do this. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go stone barrier. Probably going to use quite a bit of stone for this, but you know what? I think it's better than nothing. Yoink. 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 Oh, actually, that's perfect. That'll go into there, the wall, right? And they can't run up it, which is good, right? Yeah, they can't run up it, which is good. And then we'll go stone barrier. We'll do this so we can block off this area. Build near a hearth. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's open this up. Close this. Let's do wall torch. We'll do one up here. Bam. Do dawn is at hand. We'll do one back here. I'm starving. Bam. Okay, let's cook some food. What do I need for medley skewers? Oh, Sunyan. Ugh. Okay, let's eat some lambas bread since we got that. Let's put this here. Put that away. Put that away. Okay, I think we're good there. Coin, whoops. Grab that. Topaz, wood scraps. Let's go standing torch. We'll go here, 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 here. Deconstruct that. Okay, let's get our other audiobook up and running real quick. And then we'll get back to this. And we'll just keep fucking going and going now that we have a new base camp. Small. Nothing super cruisy, which is nice. Let's go here. Let's go to our downloads. I haven't done this one before, so let's see. The Silmarillion. It says episode 6. Is that... Did that only download that one chapter? I hope not. Let's see. If we open it up. Yes. Ugh. Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay. open. Oh, it is. Jesus, it's the entire fucking thing. This is audible. Okay, let's get out of there. Let me see if I can get this done real quick. Hold on. Audiobook. Allow. Open a new tab. Downloads. Here. We'll go new. Folder. We'll go the Silmarillion. Put that there. It's an AA file. I'm hoping this player will play it. Okay. Let's open up our player. MPV. Oh, it did not. MPV. Huh. Let's see. MPV play. Audible files. Is there a way? Let's see. Installation. Let's see. Does MPV play AA files? Maybe because it's copyrighted? He's not playing an audio on YouTube. Show source. Okay. What are these files? So this is Audible audio file. This one is, what is this? What are these? The Hobbit? Unexpected party. MP4. Okay, let me see if I can convert this real quick. 1 second. Audio converter. PV video audio editor. Let's open this up. Okay. Do a little bit of, we'll multitask a little bit. Okay. Let's rest. Still have some limbus, so. Okay. Wait till we're a little hungry. Okay, let's see. So we need some elven wood. Let's rebuild furnace. Yeah, let's rebuild the furnace. 3 iron ingots. So we need 3 iron ingots. So let's get iron. I don't think we have any on us, right? Well, we do. Oh, perfect. Let's build some iron ingots so we can rebuild some shit. Elven wood. We need 10 elven woods. Oh, you know what? Let's put some shit away, actually. In our chest. That. Put the stone there, that there. Coal, wood. Limbus is fine. Metal fragments there. Okay. I hear orcs. Orky goblins. Okay. Let me put this over here. Let's go to convert video. We need to convert our audio. Audio, there we go. Convert audio. Launch. Okay. I'm gonna try to convert this real quick. Hopefully I can get it done before. Oh, I still got time. Still got about an hour. It should convert it. Well, I don't know. It's a 14-hour thing. Let's see. Silmarillion here. Let's see if it can read it. I wonder if it's because it's copyrighted by Audible. Error. Cannot open. File may be damaged, encoded, unsupported. Okay, that's what I figured. There's got to be a converter. Let's see. Here we go. A free trial. It's a free trial. I'm arrested. Here we go. Let me try this converter real quick. Application. Let's go to audiobooks. Save. Open this up. Go to audiobooks. Open this up. Whoops. What the? Oh, it's downloading still. That's why. Okay, now it's downloaded. So I'll open that up. Maybe. There we go. Get rid of this. Go here. Okay, let's see how this converter works. So I'd like to convert it so I can get into a file so I can run it on this player. But anyways, I digress. Customize install any audio converter. Install. There we go. Okay. Can move that. Perfect. Move that there. Get our chat back up. Okay.
Quiet. I see prey ahead.
Okay, so there's a spider. Do the wildlife attack each other? No, they don't. I need a better weapon for this. Okay. Now we're back to mining. So wood scraps. Oh, motherfucker. Dude, these... Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Okay. We really need to be careful. Those spiders are not the friendliest. That's for fucking damn sure. Open wood. We need Sunyon. This is a perfect place too. I think perfect place for mushroom. Because it's nice and dark here. Okay. So here's copper. Darkness. Okay. Here is... What is this? Get stone. Stone's always good. Iron ore. Perfect. Let's start now.
I stay my one true love, for if I stay, said she, each hour I spend in your arms, forfeited will I be.
Okay. Let's put a standing torch here. So we're not in darkness. Okay. Let me go back here. Let's go here. Here. Go United States. We will not... Wait, we have to log in? There's no way. Converted. Add audio, books. There's no way I'm fucking logging in on a program I know nothing about. Yep, it's okay. So that was a waste. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I am not logging in on that. Ain't no way in hell. That's how people and shit gets hacked. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Go here. Perfect. Password. Get the pass key. How do you get what? There's a passcode? What? Purchase a key. Oh, purchase a key. God damn it. It says free and secure. I guess there's... I guess it's a hassle? Not working anymore. Audio converter, Windows only. I guess we can try this one. Okay. Fuck it, let's try this one. Ugh. So, for those who do not know, apparently it is a absolute hassle to try and get audibles converted to a format that is friendly. Again, I think, could be wrong, but I think that's because of the protections that they have. No. New version is available. Install ready. Yes. Okay. English. Next. Install. Launch. Okay. What? Audible standalone companion install now. Will not affect. No? No? What is this? Associate no? Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't know what the fuck this is. This to here. What? How is this not? I guess I should just figure this out off stream, huh? Let's go here. Wait, what is this? The easiest way to use is to download your books with BookLib Connect. No real activation is needed. What is this? What the fuck am I doing? It's Audible. Okay. Let's give it a shot. Keep. Open. Okay. Okay. Hopefully we're not fucking anything up. If my computer burns, crashes, and I have to get a new one, everyone will know why.
Never came back last night.
Create initial profile. Create and login. Oh yeah, see, it still has you. So like these. There we go. Oh, okay. Download folder, profiles. Okay, so if we take this, go here, go here, go here. Nope, download folder. Select folder. Export as, export folder. Here. Select folder. Profiles, download, decrypt. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so go here, go here. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Free online local converter and websites. Okay, so the online converter is simple, easy to use. Open files. That's all I want. I just want to do this. Is that so hard? Standard, good, best. Best. Can we convert? Okay, I'll let this load. It's probably uploading. I'm dying. I'm not even paying attention to anything in life right now. Well fed. Okay. Cold. Let's head back before we fucking die. Shit. Okay. That's a big bitch. Okay, so here's my base camp. So they're coming up here, right? Yeah, let's go fuck them up. Let's go standing torch. Put one here. Yo, that's a big bitch. So goblin, and then this an orc, right? Yeah. So goblin and orcs. Found the difference. Okay. One's bigger than the other. Let's go here. Let's go back to town. Deposit some stuff. I don't know if we have enough elven wood yet. Do we have enough elven wood? We only have 2 elven woods. That away, that away. That away, that away, that away. Metal fragments. I don't need any metal fragments on us. Okay. Cool. And we just keep going. Oh, you know what? We have the iron ingots now. Let's grab those. Let's rebuild the forge. So we can make some shit. Okay. Craft. So we have iron ingots. We can keep making iron ingots. That's fine. I dig it. I dig it. Now, what do we need for the key? Lonnie's key. Bronze ingots. We need bronze. How do you make bronze? What's the recipe for that? Tin, copper, and a bellows. For the bellows, we need steel, elven, and hide. Okay. We could probably build a bellows. I don't know if we did. We could probably build a bellows at our main base camp. I think that would probably be the best. Cold. Let's stay close to home, actually. What's over here, actually? Let's see. We're kind of far from town. Okay, what? Close. There we go. Bat droppings. So this, bat droppings. Okay, stone, iron. Whoops. In the shadows. I don't even see where the shadows are. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, so best. Invert. Okay, let's see how this works. Don't get cursed, don't get cursed. Oh fuck, despair. Darkness draining a lot of health. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, I hear shit. Oh, that's gnarly. I didn't realize you hear shit.
And if I should fade my one true love, if I should fade, said she.
Oh, I stopped singing. Whoops. Dawn is at hand. So it shouldn't be too cold now, right? Let's go here. Okay. So we have this. So let's how much wood do we have? We have quite a bit of wood. Let's go here. Okay. Go this way. Let's see if we can build that. Let's see if we can build that. Okay. Because we're not in the shadows. They're gonna break. Okay. Okay. Respect, respect, respect. Okay. Give it a minute. Okay. Now, we can go here. Right? Not in the shadow. Okay. Let's go here. Is that good? Damage, rebuild. Perfect. Let's go. Okay, airborne boots. So we got that. Rebuilt. Let's go up. So the shadow's that way. The shadow's that way. Can I go? I guess I can try to go that way. I can see where this takes me. Let's see. It's gonna throw me in the shadows. No. Okay. What's up here? Stone pickup. Oh, we're sleeping. Precious gems. Okay. Mushroom inventory is full. So, okay, so there's orcs this way. What is this? Water? Stone. Okay. It's coal.
We got orcs!
Alright, motherfuckers. Hope you fucking ready for this, my boy. Get coin. Drop that. Get coin. Alright, let's go kill some bitches, shall we?
Perfect! Knock this one dead.
Okay. 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 Perfect. Yay. Okay. So orcish key. Wood scraps, metal fragments, wood scraps, get coin, metal fragments, hide, coin. We need to fucking heal is what we need. Okay. Now that we have this, oh, there's an orcish key right there. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's head back to town. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna head back to town. We're going to... Fuck, I'm dead. Fuck. Oh, no. God damn it. This happens when you don't pay attention. Okay. Let's grab this. Go here. Iron sword. Ori's key. That's fine. Fuck. Okay. Let's just make more. Fuck. Okay. I don't have wood either for a torch. Okay. I guess we just hope for the best. Let's go this way. We're not too far, thank God. We just can't. We need to be careful for that. Okay, that bear didn't attack us. I wonder if unburdened. What does unburdened mean? With no picks, a bonus to stamina. Okay. Let's go grab our dead shit. And we can crack to the left. I wonder if we crack to the left, if there we go. Okay. That there, that there. What else? Shield, bat droppings, rat droppings. So it's clothing straps. Drop that. Let's be well fed. Grab that. Grab that. We can't forget that. Let's drop metal fragments, coal. Let's drop the. Actually, why are we? There we go. Okay. Orcish key, that's fine. Okay, let's first of all, this fucking audio converter thing's not working. Oh fuck, we died. Let's see. It doesn't seem like there's very many audible converters. Okay, let's see. I guess we can try this. See how this works. Upload this. Request activation successfully. Resolve the activation bytes. Convert. Windows. Convert in browser. Convert. Okay. Let's see. I don't know what it's converting it to, but. Okay. Let's go back over here. Let's bust through this wall. Complete transcoding. Oh. Is that a file that we can use? But so that was fucking easy.
This is Audible.
Ah. It is. That's a great fucking website. This is Audible. Add this to bookmarks. We'll add this to games. Okay. That was very easy and nice. So we'll go over here.
The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. Edited by Christopher Tolkien. Read by Martin Shaw.
And now we're on the Silmarillion, baby! It's a very hard read, so we'll listen to it. We're all gonna listen to it, hopefully, and enjoy our time. Does this get me to... I need to go back to town is what I need. I need to get back to my main fucking base camp is what I do. Eventually need to do. Okay.
Eine Lindele. The music of the Ainu.
Okay. Let's rebuild this. Watch helmet, nice. There's another one. Nice. What is that? That's not black diamond. Steel sword? Fuck yeah. What is this?
There was
Stone. Oh.
one, who
Tin.
in Ardor is called Ilúvatar.
Ilúvatar.
And he made first the Ainur, the holy ones, that were the offspring of his thought.
Probably not going to talk much, particularly in this first chapter.
Aught else was made. And he spoke to them, propounding to them themes of music. They sang before him, and he was glad. But for a long while, they sang only each alone, or but few together, while the rest hearkened. For each comprehended only that part of the mind of Ilúvatar from which he came. And in the understanding of their brethren, they grew but slowly. Yet ever as they listened, they came to deeper understanding, and increased in unison and harmony. And it came to pass that Ilúvatar called together all the Ainur and declared to them a mighty theme, unfolding to them things greater and more wonderful than he had yet revealed. And the glory of its beginning and the splendor of its end amazed the Ainur, so that they bowed before Ilúvatar and were silent. Then Ilúvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music. And since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, ye shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if ye will. But I will sit and hearken, and be glad that through you great beauty has been wakened into song." Then the voices of the Ainur, like unto harps, and lutes, and pipes,
I'll trap the audio book.
viols, and organs, and like unto countless choirs singing with words, began to fashion the theme of Iluvatar to a great music. And the sound arose of endless, interchanging melodies woven in harmony that passed beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights. And the places of the dwelling of Iluvatar were filled to overflowing, and the music and the echo of the music went out into the void. And it was not void.
Get ready to fight.
Oh,
Never
shit.
since have the Ainur made any music like this music. Though it has been said that a greater still shall be made before Iluvatar by the choirs of the Ainur and the children of Iluvatar after the end of days.
Fuck.
Then the themes of Iluvatar shall be played aright and take being in the moment of their utterance. For all shall then understand fully his intent in their part, and each shall know the comprehension of each. And Iluvatar shall give to their thoughts the secret fire, being well pleased. But now, Iluvatar sat and hearkened, and for a great while it seemed good to him, for in the music there were no flaws.
It's like 300. Funnel them.
But as the theme progressed, it came into the heart of Melkor
Shit.
to interweave matters of his own imagining that were not in accord with the theme of Iluvatar. For he sought therein to increase the power and glory of the part assigned to himself.
That's one more for me.
To Melkor, among the Ainur, had been given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge, and he had a share in all the gifts of his brethren. He had gone often alone to the void places, seeking the imperishable flame, for desire grew hot within him, to bring into being things of his own. And it seemed to him that Iluvatar took no thought for the void, and he was impatient of its emptiness. Yet he found not the fire, for it is with Iluvatar. But being alone, he had begun to conceive thoughts of his own unlike those of his brethren. Some of these thoughts he now wove into his music, and straightway discord arose about him, and many that sang nigh him grew despondent, and their thought was disturbed, and their music faltered. But some began to attune their music to his rather than to the thought which they had at first. Then the discord of Melkor spread ever wider, and the melodies which had been heard before foundered in a sea of turbulent sound. But Iluvatar sat and hearkened until it seemed that about his throne there was a raging storm, as of dark waters that made war one upon another, in an endless wrath that would not be assuaged. Then Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that he smiled. And he lifted up his left hand, and a new theme began amid the storm. Like
Black Diamond.
and yet unlike to the former theme, and it gathered power and had new beauty.
We need that.
But the discord of Melkor rose in uproar and contended with it. And again there was a war of sound, more violent than before, until many of the Ainur were dismayed and sang no longer, and Melkor had the mastery. Then again Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that his countenance was stern, and he lifted up his right hand, and behold, a third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others. For it seemed at first soft and sweet, a mere rippling of gentle sounds in delicate melodies. But it could not be quenched, and it took to itself power and profundity. And it seemed at last that there were two musics progressing at one time before the seat of Iluvatar, and they were utterly at variance. The one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow, and blended with an immeasurable sorrow, from which its beauty chiefly came. The other had now achieved a unity of its own, but it was loud and vain and endlessly repeated, and it had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison as of many trumpets braying upon a few notes. And it essayed to drown the other music by the violence of its voice, but it seemed that its most triumphant notes were taken by the other and woven into its own solemn pattern. In the midst of this strife, whereat the halls of Iluvatar shook, and a tremor ran out into the silences yet unmoved. Iluvatar arose a third time, and his face was terrible to behold. Then he raised up both his hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iluvatar, the music ceased. Then Iluvatar spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor. But that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar, those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. Thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me. Nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined." Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them, and Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger. That Iluvatar arose in splendor, and he went forth from the fair regions that he had made for the Ainur, and the Ainur followed him. But when they were come into the void, Iluvatar said to them, "Behold your music." And he showed to them a vision, giving to them sight where before was only hearing. And they saw a new world made visible before them. And it was globed amid the void, and it was sustained therein, but was not of it. And as they looked and wondered, this world began to unfold its history, and it seemed to them that it lived and grew. And when the Ainur had gazed for a while, and was silent, Iluvatar said again, "Behold your music. This is your minstrelsy, and each of you shall find contained herein, amid the design that I set before you, all those things which it may seem that he himself devised or added. And thou, Melkor, wilt discover all the secret thoughts of thy mind, and wilt perceive that they are but a part of the whole, and tributary to its glory." And many other things Iluvatar spoke to the Ainur at that time. And because of their memory of his words and the knowledge that each has of the music that he himself made, the Ainur know much of what was, and is to come. And few things are unseen by them. Yet some things there are that they cannot see, neither alone nor taking counsel together. For to none but himself has Iluvatar revealed all that he has in store. And in every age there come forth things that are new, and have no foretelling, for they do not proceed from the past. And so it was, that as this vision of the world was played before them, the Ainur saw that it contained things which they had not thought. And they saw with amazement the coming of the children of Iluvatar, and the habitation that was prepared for them, and they perceived that they themselves in the labor of their music had been busy with the preparation of this dwelling, and yet knew not that it had any purpose beyond its own beauty. For the children of Iluvatar were conceived by him alone, and they came with the third theme, and were not in the theme which Iluvatar propounded at the beginning, and none of the Ainur had part in their making. Therefore, when they beheld them, the more did they love them, being things other than themselves, strange and free, wherein they saw the mind of Iluvatar reflected anew, and learned yet a little more of his wisdom, which otherwise had been hidden, even from the Ainur. Now the children of Iluvatar are elves and men, the firstborn and the followers. And amid all the splendors of the world, its vast halls and spaces and its wheeling fires, Iluvatar chose a place for their habitation in the deeps of time, and in the midst of the innumerable stars. And this habitation might seem a little thing to those who consider only the majesty of the Ainur, and not their terrible sharpness, as who should take the whole field of Arda for the foundation of a pillar, and so raise it until the cone of its summit were more bitter than a needle. Or who consider only the immeasurable vastness of the world, which still the Ainur are shaping, and not the minute precision to which they shape all things therein. But when the Ainur had beheld this habitation in a vision, and had seen the children of Iluvatar arise therein, then many of the most mighty among them bent all their thought and their desire towards that place. And of these, Melkor was the chief, even as he was in the beginning the greatest of the Ainur who took part in the music. And he feigned, even to himself at first, that he desired to go thither and order all things for the good of the children of Iluvatar, controlling the turmoils of the heat and the cold that had come to pass through him. But he desired rather to subdue to his will both elves and men, envying the gifts with which Iluvatar promised to endow them. And he wished himself to have subjects and servants, and to be called Lord, and to be a master over other wills. But the other Ainur looked upon this habitation set within the vast spaces of the world, which the elves call Arda, the earth, and their hearts rejoiced in light, and their eyes beholding many colors were filled with gladness. But because of the roaring of the sea, they felt a great unquiet, and they observed the winds and the air, and the matters of which Arda was made of iron, and stone, and silver, and gold, and many substances. But of all these, water they most greatly praised. And it is said by the Eldar that in water there lives yet the echo of the music of the Ainur, more than in any substance else that is in this earth. And many of the children of Iluvatar hearken still, unsated, to the voices of the sea, and yet know not for what they listen. Now, to water had that Ainu whom the elves call Ulmo turned his thought, and of all most deeply was he instructed by Iluvatar in music. But of the airs and winds, Manwe most had pondered, who is the noblest of the Ainur. Of the fabric of earth had Aule thought, to whom Iluvatar had given skill and knowledge scarce less than to Melkor. But the delight and pride of Aule is in the deed of making, and in the thing made, and neither in possession nor in his own mastery. Wherefore he gives and hoards not, and is free from care, passing ever on to some new work. And Iluvatar spoke to Ulmo, and said, "Seest thou not how here in this little realm in the deeps of time, Melkor hath made war upon thy province? He hath bethought him of bitter cold immoderate, and yet hath not destroyed the beauty of thy fountains, nor of thy clear pools. Behold the snow, and the cunning work of frost. Melkor hath devised heats and fire without restraint, and hath not dried up thy desire, nor utterly quelled the music of the sea. Behold rather the height and glory of the clouds and the ever-changing mists, and listen to the fall of rain upon the earth. And in these clouds thou art drawn nearer to Manwe, thy friend, whom thou lovest." Then Ulmo answered, "Truly water is become now fairer than my heart imagined. Neither had my secret thought conceived the snowflake, nor in all my music was contained the falling of the rain. I will seek Manwe, that he and I may make melodies forever to thy delight." And Manwe and Ulmo have from the beginning been allied, and in all things have served most faithfully the purpose of Iluvatar. But even as Ulmo spoke, and while the Ainur were yet gazing upon this vision, it was taken away and hidden from their sight. And it seemed to them that in that moment they perceived a new thing, darkness, which they had not known before, except in thought. But they had become enamored of the beauty of the vision, and engrossed in the unfolding of the world, which came there to being, and their minds were filled with it. For the history was incomplete, and the circles of time not full wrought when the vision was taken away. And some have said that the vision ceased ere the fulfillment of the dominion of men, and the fading of the firstborn. Wherefore, though the music is over all, the Valar have not seen as with sight the later ages, or the ending of the world. Then there was unrest among the Ainur. But Iluvatar called to them and said, I know the desire of your minds, that what ye have seen should verily be, not only in your thought, but even as ye yourselves are, and yet other. Therefore, I say, Ea, let these things be. And I will send forth into the void the flame imperishable, and it shall be at the heart of the world, and the world shall be. And those of you that will may go down into it. And suddenly the Ainur saw afar off a light, as it were a cloud with a living heart of flame. And they knew that this was no vision only, but that Iluvatar had made a new thing, Ea, the world that is. Thus it came to pass that of the Ainur some abode still with Iluvatar beyond the confines of the world. But others, and among them many of the greatest and most fair, took the leave of Iluvatar and descended into it. But this condition Iluvatar made, or it is the necessity of their love, that their power should thenceforward be contained and bounded in the world, to be within it forever, until it is complete, so that they are its life, and it is theirs. And therefore they are named the Valar, the powers of the world.
The powers that...
But when the Valar entered into Ea, they were at first astounded and at a loss. For it was as if naught was yet made which they had seen in vision, and all was but on point to begin, and yet unshaped, and it was dark. For the great music had been but the growth and flowering of thought in the timeless halls, and the vision only a foreshowing. But now they had entered in at the beginning of time, and the Valar perceived that the world had been but foreshadowed and foresung, and they must achieve it. So began their great labors in wastes unmeasured and unexplored, and in ages uncounted and forgotten, until in the deeps of time, and in the midst of the vast halls of Ea, there came to be that hour and that place where was made the habitation of the children of Iluvatar. And in this work the chief part was taken by Manwë, and Aule, and Ulmo. But Melkor too was there from the first, and he meddled in all that was done, turning it, if he might, to his own desires and purposes, and he kindled great fires. When therefore earth was yet young and full of flame, Melkor coveted it, and he said to the other Valar, This shall be my own kingdom, and I name it unto myself. But Manwë was the brother of Melkor in the mind of Iluvatar, and he was the chief instrument of the second theme that Iluvatar had raised up against the discord of Melkor. And he called unto himself many spirits, both greater and less, and they came down into the fields of Arda, and aided Manwë, lest Melkor should hinder the fulfillment of their labor forever, and earth should wither ere it flowered. And Manwë said unto Melkor, This kingdom thou shalt not take for thine own wrongfully. for many others have labored here no less than thou. And there was strife between Melkor and the other Valar, and for that time Melkor withdrew and departed to other regions, and did there what he would. But he did not put the desire of the kingdom of Arda from his heart. Now the Valar took to themselves shape and hue, and because they were drawn into the world by love of the children of Iluvatar, for whom they hoped, they took shape after that manner which they had beheld in the vision of Iluvatar, save only in majesty and splendor. Moreover, their shape comes of the knowledge of the visible world, rather than of the world itself. And they need it not, save only as we use raiment. And yet we may be naked and suffer no loss of our being. Therefore the Valar may walk, if they will, unclad. And then even the Eldar cannot clearly perceive them, though they be present. But when they desire to clothe themselves, the Valar take upon them forms, some as of male and some as of female. For that difference of temper they had even from their beginning.
Quiet. I see prey
And it
ahead.
is but bodied forth in the choice of each, not made by the choice. Even as with us male and female may be shown by the raiment, but is not made thereby. But the shapes wherein the great ones array themselves are not at all times like to the shapes of the kings and queens of the children of Iluvatar. For at times they may clothe themselves in their own thought, made visible in forms of majesty and dread. And the Valar drew unto them many companions, some less, some well nigh as great as themselves. And they labored together in the ordering of the earth and the curbing of its tumults. Then Melkor saw what was done, and that the Valar walked on earth as powers visible, clad in the raiment of the world, and were lovely and glorious to see, and blissful. And that the earth was becoming as a garden for their delight, for its turmoils were subdued. His envy grew then the greater within him.
Fuck.
And he also took visible form. But because of his mood and the malice that burned in him, that form was dark and terrible. And he descended upon Arda in power and majesty greater than any other of the Valar, as a mountain that wades in the sea, and has its head above the clouds, and is clad in ice and crowned with smoke and fire.
Crushing?
And the light of the eyes of Melkor was like a flame that withers with heat and pierces with a deadly cold. Thus began the first battle of the Valar with Melkor for the dominion of Arda. And of those tumults the elves know but little, for what has here been declared is come from the Valar themselves, with whom the Eldalir spoke in the land of Valinor, and by whom they were instructed. But little would the Valar ever tell of the wars before the coming of the elves. Yet it is told among the Eldar that the Valar endeavored ever, in despite of Melkor, to rule the earth and to prepare it for the coming of the firstborn. And they built lands, and Melkor destroyed them. Valleys they delved, and Melkor raised them up. Mountains they carved, and Melkor threw them down. Seas they hollowed, and Melkor spilled them. And naught might have peace or come to lasting growth, for as surely as the Valar began a labor, so would Melkor undo it or corrupt.
Melkor ain't gotta be a dick though, bro.
And yet their labor was not all in vain. And though nowhere and in no work was their will and purpose wholly fulfilled, and all things were in hue and shape other than the Valar had at first intended, slowly nonetheless the earth was fashioned and made firm. And thus was the habitation of the children of Iluvatar established at last in the deeps of time, and amidst the innumerable stars.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So bronze. We need bronze. I don't think we have enough for bronze, huh? No, we don't. We need more tin, and we need a bellows. It's fine.
Valaquenta.
Valaquenta.
Account of the Valar and Maya according to the lore of the Eldar.
I don't think there's a
In the beginning,
map
Eru,
here. Map
the
stone.
one,
Map thing.
who in the Elvish tongue is named Ilúvatar, made the Ainur of his thought, and they made a great music before him. In this music, the world was begun. For Ilúvatar made visible the song of the Ainur, and they beheld it as a light in the darkness. And many among them became enamored of its beauty, and of its history, which they saw beginning and unfolding.
There's gotta be one in the
as a
Elven
vision.
area.
Therefore, Ilúvatar gave to their vision being, and set it amid the void, and the secret fire was sent to burn at the heart of the world, and it was called Ea.
Ea.
Then those of the Ainur who desired it arose and entered into the world at the beginning of time, and it was their task to achieve it, and by their labors to fulfill the vision which they had seen. Long they labored in the regions of Ea, which are vast beyond the thought of elves and men, until in the time appointed was made Arda, the kingdom of earth. Then they put on the raiment of earth, and descended into it, and dwelt therein. Of the Valar, the great among these spirits, the elves name the Valar.
We made quite a bit
powers
of progress.
Arda, and men have often called them
We've made
gods.
quite a bit of fucking progress today.
The lords of the Valar are 7, and the
Let's go build this map stone.
queens of the Valar are 7 also. These were the names in the Elvish tongue as it was spoken in Valinor, though they have other names in the speech of the elves in Middle-earth, and their names among men are manifold. The names of the lords in due order are Manwe, Ulmo, Aule, Orome, Mandos, Lorien, and Tulkas. And the names of the queens are Varda, Yavanna, Nienna, Este, Vaire, Vana, and Nessa. Melkor is counted no longer among the Valar, and his name is not spoken upon earth. Manwe and Melkor were brethren in the thought of Ilúvatar. The mightiest of those Ainur who came into the world was in his beginning Melkor. But Manwe is dearest to Ilúvatar and understands most clearly his purposes. He was appointed to be, in the fullness of time, the first of all kings, lord of the realm of Arda, and ruler of all that dwell therein. In Arda, his delight is in the winds and the clouds, and in all the regions of the air, from the heights to the depths, from the utmost borders of the vale of Arda, to the breezes that blow in the grass. Sulimo, he is surnamed, Lord of the breath of Arda. All swift birds, strong of wing, he loves, and they come and go at his bidding. With Manwe dwells Varda, Lady of the Stars, who knows all the regions of Ea. Too great is her beauty to be declared in the words of men or of elves. For the light of Ilúvatar lives still in her face. In light is her power and her joy. Out of the deeps of Ea, she came to the aid of Manwe. For Melkor she knew from before the making of the music, and rejected him. And he hated her, and feared her more than all others whom Eru made. Manwe and Varda are seldom parted, and they remain in Valinor. Their halls are above the everlasting snow, upon Oyulassa, the uttermost tower of Taniquetil, tallest of all the mountains upon earth. When Manwe there ascends his throne and looks forth, if Vardar is beside him, he sees further than all other eyes, through mist and through darkness, and over the leagues of the sea. And if Manwe is with her, Varda hears more clearly than all other ears the sound of voices that cry from east to west, from the hills and the valleys, and from the dark places that Melkor has made upon earth. Of all the great ones who dwell in this world, the elves hold Varda most in reverence and love. Elbereth, they name her, and they call upon her name out of the shadows of Middle-earth and uplift it in song at the rising of the stars. Ulmo is the Lord of Waters. He is alone. He dwells nowhere long, but moves as he will in all the deep waters about the earth or under the earth. He is next in might to Manwë, and before Valinor was made, he was closest to him in friendship. But thereafter, he went seldom to the councils of the Valar, unless great matters were in debate. For he kept all Arda in thought, and he has no need of any resting place. Moreover, he does not love to walk upon land, and will seldom clothe himself in a body after the manner of his peers. If the children of Eru beheld him, they were filled with a great dread, for the arising of the King of the Sea was terrible as a mounting wave that strides to the land, with dark helm foam-crested and raiment of mail shimmering from silver down into shadows of green. The trumpets of Manwë are loud, but Ulmo's voice is deep as the deeps of the ocean, which he only has seen. Nonetheless, Ulmo loves both elves and men, and never abandoned them, not even when they lay under the wrath of the Valar. At times he will come unseen to the shores of Middle-earth, or pass far inland up firths of the sea, and there make music upon his great horns, the Ulumuri, that are wrought of white shell. And those to whom that music comes hear it ever after in their hearts, and longing for the sea never leaves them again. But mostly, Ulmo speaks to those who dwell in Middle-earth with voices that are heard only as the music of water. For all seas, lakes, rivers, fountains, and springs are in his government, so that the elves say that the spirit of Ulmo runs in all the veins of the world. Thus news comes to Ulmo, even in the deeps, of all the needs and griefs of Arda, which otherwise would be hidden from Manwë. Aule has might little less than Ulmo. His lordship is over all the substances of which Arda is made. In the beginning, he wrought much in fellowship with Manwë and Ulmo, and the fashioning of all lands was his labor. He is a smith and a master of all crafts, and he delights in works of skill, however small, as much as in the mighty building of old. His are the gems that lie deep in the earth, and the gold that is fair in the hand, no less than the walls of the mountains and the basins of the sea. The Noldor learned most of him, and he was ever their friend. Melkor was jealous of him, for Aule was most like himself in thought and in powers, and there was long strife between them, in which Melkor ever marred or undid the works of Aule, and Aule grew weary in repairing the tumults and disorders of Melkor. Both also desired to make things of their own that should be new and unthought of by others, and delighted in the praise of their skill. But Aule remained faithful to Eru and submitted all that he did to his will. And he did not envy the works of others, but sought and gave counsel. Whereas Melkor spent his spirit in envy and hate, until at last he could make nothing save in mockery of the thought of others, and all their works he destroyed if he could. The spouse of Aule is Yavanna, the giver of fruits. She is the lover of all things that grow in the earth, and all their countless forms she holds in her mind, from the trees like towers in forests long ago, to the moss upon stones, or the small and secret things in the mold. In reverence, Yavanna is next to Vadi among the queens of the Valar. In the form of a woman, she is tall and robed in green, but at times she takes other shapes. Some there are who have seen her standing like a tree under heaven, crowned with the sun, and from all its branches there spilled a golden dew upon the barren earth. And it grew green with corn, but the roots of the tree were in the waters of Ulmo, and the winds of Manwe spoke in its leaves. Kementari, Queen of the Earth, she is surnamed in the Eldarin tongue. The Feanturi, Masters of Spirits, are brethren, and they are called most often Mandos and Lorien. Yet these are rightly the names of the places of their dwelling, and their true names are Namo and Irmo. Namo, the Elder, dwells in Mandos, which is westward in Valinor. He is the keeper of the houses of the dead, and the summoner of the spirits of the slain. He forgets nothing, and he knows all things that shall be, save only those that lie still in the freedom of Iluvata. He is the doomsman of the Valar, but he pronounces his dooms and his judgments only at the bidding of Manwe. Vaire, the weaver, is his spouse, who weaves all things that have ever been in time into her storied webs, and the halls of Mandos that ever widen as the ages pass are clothed with them. Irmo the Younger is the master of visions and dreams. In Lorien are his gardens in the land of the Valar, and they are the fairest of all places in the world, filled with many spirits. Este, the gentle healer of hurts and of weariness, is his spouse. Grey is her raiment, and rest is her gift. She walks not by day, but sleeps upon an island in the tree-shadowed lake of Lorelin. From the fountains of Irmo and Este, all those who dwell in Valinor draw refreshment, and often the Valar come themselves to Lorien, and there find repose and easing of the burden of Arda. Mightier than Este is Nienna, sister of the Feanturi. She dwells alone. She is acquainted with grief and mourns for every wound that Arda has suffered in the marring of Melkor. So great was her sorrow as the music unfolded that her song turned to lamentation long before its end, and the sound of mourning was woven into the themes of the world before it began. But she does not weep for herself, and those who hearken to her learn pity and endurance in hope. Her halls are west of west, upon the borders of the world, and she comes seldom to the city of Valimar, where all is glad. She goes rather to the halls of Mandos, which are near to her own. And all those who wait in Mandos cry to her, for she brings strength to the spirit and turns sorrow to wisdom. The windows of her house look outward from the walls of the world. Greatest in strength and deeds of prowess is Tulkas, who is surnamed Astaldo the Valiant. He came last to Arda to aid the Valar in the first battles with Melkor. He delights in wrestling and in contests of strength, and he rides no steed, for he can outrun all things that go on feet, and he is tireless. His hair and beard are golden, and his flesh ruddy. His weapons are his hands. He has little heed for either the past or the future, and is of no avail as a counselor.
That's it.
But is a hardy
leave.
friend.
His thanks for
is Nessa, the sister
listening.
of Orome. And
Thanks for anybody who lurked in. Thanks for watching.
Deer she loves, and they follow her train whenever she goes in the wild. But she can outrun them, swift as an arrow.
There we go. Alright, I hope everyone has a great day. Take it easy. Until next time. Bam.